Your past does not matter. Your past doesn't matter at all. And the more that you continue to carry your past into the present moment, the more that you hold on and hang on so tightly to the past and bring it into the moment that you're in now, you're just going to end up repeating your past. And then your past is going to become your future. And this is how we get stuck in patterns and situations, and we just are on repeat in the same loops over and over and over again. And I don't want that for you. As a doctor who has worked with thousands of patients in her practice, I have seen firsthand the impact of holding on to the past, the impact of repeating the past, talking about it over and over and over again. I've seen the impact of that. And what ends up happening is that you keep yourself more stuck in the past. I want you to really sit with this message that I'm going to share with you today. And I want you to listen to this video all the way until the end, because if you can sit and watch this and understand this and apply this, you are going to break out of so many toxic patterns and cycles. And most importantly, you are going to get back into the driver's seat of your life and be able to dictate where your car goes. Because right now, a lot of the past is dictating where your car goes, and you are not in the driver's seat of your life. And it's time for you now to take the power back. It's time for you to finally let the past go. Let it go. And I'm going to teach you the exact steps and strategies and ways as to how you're going to do that, because holding on to the past, it's toxic, and it's keeping you stuck in places and spaces that you no longer belong to. And if you want to build an incredible life, if you want to step into the best version of yourself and see the life that you can build being this version of you, then my friend, we have to let go of the past, and it is time for you to do that. So first things first is I want to start off with why the past doesn't matter at all, because you might be a little bit taken aback by that. You might be triggered by that. And I do not mean to trigger you, to hurt you. It's coming from the most loving place because I care about you. But the reason why the past doesn't matter as much, and you know what? I'll say that, preface that with like a grain of salt, because I'm a fan of therapy. I've been to therapy. I've done a lot of work and I've worked through my past. But I think there has to be an aspect, an element of finally deciding it's time to move forward and it's time to let it go. And I think what happens with so many of us is we just get so stuck on figuring out why things happened the way they did. Where are these things coming from? And we just get stuck in this why. And it's like, amazing. You can understand the whys of everything, but it doesn't change the fact that you now need to do things differently today. You can pull out a whole whiteboard and put up pictures and put up things as to where things stemmed from and what parent did what. And as a result of this experience in grade 3, you're now feeling this way. And it's like amazing. You're able to connect the dots and see where things are coming from. But honey, that doesn't change the fact that you need to show up differently today to actually experience a different life moving forward. It doesn't change the fact that you need to do the work right now today in this moment. So yes, I think it's important to go back into the past to, at a certain extent and level, work through some of those childhood stories, figure out your limiting beliefs. But even the work that I do in my practice, I don't spend a lot of time with my patients in the past, because I have seen firsthand that when we spend a lot of time in the past, in the whys of things and why they happened the way that they did, we just repeat the past. We just talk about it over and over and over and over again. And what is talking about the past going to do? It's not going to change anything. So you need to decide that enough is enough. And the reason that the past doesn't matter is what I want you to start to see is that all that matters is right now, this moment. This very moment right now is the only thing that matters in your life. And the action steps that you choose to take, the version of yourself that you choose to show up as right now, is the version of you that is creating your future. And what happens to a lot of us is that we carry a little backpack on here of my past baggage. We carry our past in the present moment. You react to current situations based off of past experiences. Take that in. And let's bring this back to nervous system regulation, because your nervous system actually gets attached and it gets wired to certain reactions and to certain experiences. So, for example, I'd say, for example, in the past, in a relationship, you've been cheated on. So what ends up happening is that because of that past experience that you've had, in the present moment today, you carry that past experience with you. So when it comes to dating, you're not trusting, you're extra hyper vigilant. You want to go through your partner's phones. You want to know exactly what they're doing at every single moment. And you need all of this information because you're carrying the past into the present. You don't want to repeat the past, right? There's a fear, there's a lot of fear. And as a result of that, you're taking all of these action steps. But what I want you to understand is the reason you're showing up that way is because of a past experience, because of past beliefs that were created as a result of the experience you've been through. So what are you doing? You're simply just repeating the past in the present moment. That's what you're doing. And I am not saying that we completely forget about our experiences, because the other thing too is that when your brain goes through specific things, it wants to protect you. That's what your brain cares about. It cares about protecting you. So if you have been through a past experience or a partner cheats on you, you develop all these behaviors, mechanisms just to protect yourself. So to some extent, it can be good, but to a whole other extent, it can be awful because it doesn't allow you to fully open up and really experience the love that you want to experience. And as a result of that belief, what ends up happening is that you end up attracting people in your life who just continue to fulfill that story. And then you just repeat the past in the present moment. So this is why I'm trying to reinforce to you that your past doesn't matter. The other example where it shows up, as I see this in my practice all the time, is so many of us will tell ourselves that we're failures, we can't heal, that I can't accomplish XYZ thing because I have failed in the past. And because we have failed in the past, we think that we're now going to fail in the future as well. So what are we doing again? We're bringing the past into the present moment. And as a result of the past, it's changing the way that we show up in the present moment. And we're showing up as if the past belief is true. And then what ends up happening? We repeat the past in the future. The truth is that it doesn't matter how many times you've failed in the past before. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what experiences you've been through. It doesn't matter how many times your heart has been broken. It doesn't matter how many times you've just failed at things, whether it's your business, whether it's whatever it is, your health. All that matters is who you choose to show up today. That's all that matters. And if you choose today in this moment to show up as that best version of you, to show up as that version of you who is aligned with calm, with peace, with joy, who's aligned with all of these beautiful emotions, if you choose to show up as this version of yourself now, that is the version of you that is creating your future. That is the version of you who's going to dictate the next path of your life. And just start to just observe this. Honestly, even just practice this for a week, and you're going to notice so many incredible shifts in your life because you're no longer operating from the old story. You're no longer operating from the past. And the only way to create a different future than the past is we now need to show up differently in the present moment. That is the key that ultimately matters. And that is what I want you to get away from today's message. And again, your brain might be like, oh, but remember this instance in the past, remember XYZ. It's okay to have those thoughts. Thoughts only become reality if you act on those thoughts. And a lot of us, we act on the thoughts from the past, and the result of that, we repeat the past. You're allowed to, you can have negative thoughts, you can have all those thoughts, but if you still choose to show up differently, if you choose to act in alignment with the version of yourself you want to be, you will create a whole new future for yourself. So your past doesn't matter at all. And if you need to do some work to let go of the past, like if you feel like maybe there's things you haven't fully worked towards, this is where therapy is great. Personally, I also love doing like letter writing exercises to people of my past. So I really feel like I can release and let go and start fresh. And honestly, I think like August is such a good time for that. Even I've been feeling in my life right now a lot of just like clearing and letting go and alignment. And I think this is like the perfect time to really see, what are you still holding onto from the past? Is it people? Is it experiences? And what do you need to do in order to let go of that? What do you need to do to finally come to peace with it, come to terms with it? And, you know, sometimes letting go can feel like a really hard statement. It can feel like a lot of pressure. And What I almost like to reframe letting go as is letting things be. Just let things be. The experiences that you've been through, the truth is that you're not going to be able to let them go. If you've been cheated on in a past relationship, it's hard to fully let that go and forget about that experience, especially if it's something that really hurt you and defined you. And oftentimes these experiences are. But can you let it be? Can you accept that this is a part of your past? Because we can't forget about it, but maybe we can accept it. That way we can acknowledge that this is the part of the past, and it's okay that it was. And what we can do now in this moment is we can not allow that experience to define us anymore. Just because you've been cheated once in a relationship, or maybe even a couple times with different people, doesn't mean that this is the love that you deserve. This doesn't have to become the story of your life. Why does it have to become the story of your life? Why can't you deserve an incredible love where you are respected and cared for and loved the way that you truly want to be loved in your life? You're allowed to have that. You're allowed to have that and more. And this is why it's so important that you let the past go and realize it doesn't matter anymore, especially if you are on this journey of building the life of your dreams. Because the more you let the past come into the present, you're allowing the past to dictate your future. You're allowing the past to become the story that is your life. And I don't want that for you. I don't want all of those negative, awful experiences that you've been through become the story that is your life. I don't want that for you. I want the story of your life to be incredible and magical and beautiful and something that you're proud to look back at. But you can't do that if you carry the past with you through every single present moment. You truly can't do that. So this is the message that I wanted to share with you today. I hope that this was helpful, inspiring, and most importantly, it's shown you that truly the past doesn't matter. All that matters is today and the version of yourself that you choose to show up as right now. So that's the story that I want you to tell yourself. Tell yourself an empowering story about who you are and what you're capable of, and let the past go. Imagine you're like a newborn baby in this moment. You are a fresh newborn baby. You haven't had any of those experiences. And if you were just like a fresh newborn baby in this very moment, what is the story that you want to believe about yourself and who you are? And the more you show up in alignment with that story, you are going to build an entire future around that story. You just have to show up consistently. That's a piece too. Not 100% of the time. Even if you show up as this version of yourself 55% of the time, it's still most of the time. And that story is what is going to become the reality at the end of the day. And if you want support with any of this work, I want to welcome you to join the Nervous System Academy. Truly, we've built just such an awesome, incredible community. And I'm such a believer now in that, like, we should not be healing alone. Healing in community and getting the support of each other is truly, it's truly how you exponentially get better and step into that version of yourself. Like, we're not meant to heal alone. So I'll share the link in the bio if you want more information on that, and I'll talk to you soon.